Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 37 of the Run in the Paint podcast. I'm Miles with Nick, Jackson, and Joey. Guys, how are you doing today?
What's up, everybody? Let's talk playoffs. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, let's talk playoffs. Let's do it.
Heck yeah, our 2024 playoff preview episode. I've been waiting for this for such a long time, and now it's finally here. But before we get to the playoffs, we've got to recap some of the, all of the play-in tournament games because there were some crazy games and some news in the games themselves that could have some potential implications on future outcomes as well. So first, I guess we'll go in order of the games when they happen. So first, let's start with the Western Conference with the Lakers Pelicans game, with the Lakers holding on to the victory 110 to 106. And the main story out of this game is, of course, Zion Williamson having, I would say, the best game of his career. And then going down with about 3 minutes to go, and the Lakers end up pulling out the victory. Joey, we'll start with you. What is something that you want to talk about with this game or with Zion himself?
Honestly, just huge shout out to Zion. It really sucks that he got hurt and we will not be able to see him for the next game. But man, he had a crazy game. This is what we needed out of him, and that's why they were in the game. It was a really close game.
Yeah, Zion just landed on. No way.
Is that a fire drill?
Jackson is having a fire drill right now.
There is no way.
Jackson, you better get out, man.
No. Bye, Jackson.
I think you should leave.
Yeah, Jackson, yeah, you should probably
at least mute it. You should probably go.
Oh my gosh! If you're listening on a Spotify, it's currently flashing in Jackson's room over there with a siren.
Hopefully it shuts off in the next 5. But if someone comes knocking, you're gonna have to just stop. Okay. Anyways,
it'll be 10-15 minutes, and if someone comes knocking, I'm screwed.
Well, maybe there's actually some. Okay.
If someone comes knocking, that means it's the fire department, and that means my next door neighbor set it off, and I'm gonna have to pay a $150 fine.
Okay.
Which I just cannot do. So
let's get back to Zion. He landed on someone's foot there around the third minute or the fourth quarter. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But yeah, 40-point game for him in the biggest stage he's probably played in so far. And wasn't getting a lot of help from the two guys who were next up, like B.I. and McCollum didn't have great nights. It was pretty much him out there, and he was dominating LeBron, dominating Davis, just going right at those guys and finishing over top and making things happen in the lane. They were sagging off, they were playing him 10, 15 feet off, and it didn't matter. He would find the open guy. He was making reads on the backside. It was a complete game, and he was motoring on both ends as well. It was fun to watch.
He was really fantastic. And like you said, LeBron was sagging off him for really the whole game, and Zion was even making pull-up mid-range jump shots right around that foul line area. He had the whole bag in his arsenal for this game. And like you said, Ingram and McCollum both really didn't show up. They combined to shoot 8 for 27 from the field. McCollum 1 for 9 from downtown, and Ingram ended up being on the bench for, I believe, the whole fourth quarter, at least most of it. He didn't close the game because he was struggling so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really the bench that that had to step up later in the game. Trey Murphy made a few big plays. I want to shout out to Jose Alvarado. He gave his all out there. I think Kevin Harlan said 2 gimped ankles, and he was still giving his all out there, man.
Yeah, he was gimping a lot. The bench though, they willed them back in this game. They were down double digits in the second half, down a good amount the whole game. But they went on a run there in the second half to make it close, and then Zion was playing out of his mind. It was a great battle. And then when he went down, the air gets kind of let out of the arena. And but like you said, they fought till the end. The Pelicans are a pretty gritty team. They didn't even have Bi out there at the end. They were fighting with their role guys, and they lost by 4. So it was a good game.
Yeah, it was a very good game. At the end of it, it really came down to offensive rebounding at the end because I believe so they got it down to a 2-point game with like 30 seconds to go. CJ hit a pull-up mid-range shot, and then they forced LeBron into a very low quality fadeaway shot on the baseline. But then AD got the rebound and got fouled, and that kind of sealed the deal there. And it's just devastating for the Pelicans because you could not have asked for worse performances from LeBron and Anthony Davis. Like both were very, very subpar. I know the stats may not say that, but they really did. This is probably the worst that either of them are going to play for the rest of the year, and you couldn't pull out the victory.
Well, if it's not the worst they're going to play for the rest of the year, then they're going to be done in 4 because Denver's coming.
Since they did win, they do have the unfortunate task of playing the defending champs, Denver
Nuggets. If they
Nuggets.
play this poorly, I'm saying it's going to be wrapped up pretty quick.
Oh, it's over, yeah.
Yeah, it's this was really a game of it was a game of quarters because the first quarter the Pelicans came out looking fantastic, and I was like looking on NBA Twitter and everyone was like, "Oh man, the Lakers really are tanking this last game to avoid Denver." But then the Lakers came out in the second quarter and outscored the Pelicans by like 20 points and got up double digits, like you said, Nick. And then the Pelicans came back in the fourth quarter. Definitely a possibility that the Pelicans would have won the game if Zion stayed in because he was looking great, but in the end, the Lakers pull it out. They advance to face Denver, and the Pelicans will now have to play a game tonight as we're releasing this against the Sacramento Kings after a dominating victory over the Golden State Warriors. And I don't know if anyone expected that to happen.
I did. I picked them.
Joey did say everyone except for Steph was going to suck. And everyone did.
And everyone did. Klay Thompson, more notably.
Yeah, but Joey, did you think that it would be a blowout, the whole like a 20-point lead?
No, I thought they would win close.
Yeah.
I did not expect Keegan Murray to go off the way he did. Like, I know I said Sabonis was going to have a 30-point triple-double. Well, I'm pretty sure he was about to end with a triple-double last time I checked because it was a blowout.
Yeah. Sabonis had 16, 12, and 7, but I thought he played a great game.
Finished with 7.
Either way,
he played a great game. We were talking about before in our preview episode about how this game could come down to who Golden State decided to start at the 5, and they decided to stick with Trayce Jackson-Davis, who had been playing really well heading into that point. And they I really don't understand why they kept starting him because
let me do this for you. You said
go ahead.
If they don't start Looney, it's going to be an issue. And then they started Davis and played him for 10 minutes and had to take him out for the rest of the game. He didn't go back on the floor because he was not ready for the moment, and Sabonis was not the right matchup for him. He was playing out of position, for one thing, as well. And I don't know. Looney, like you very well, you accurately stated that he was the right option.
It was just like you said, Trayce Jackson-Davis. He was playing out of position, not because like he was guarding Sabonis. He didn't guard Sabonis. Steve Kerr tried to hide him on defense. They had Draymond Green guard Sabonis, which in theory is would be a great matchup, right? Draymond Green, one of the best defensive players that we've ever seen. But they put Trayce Jackson-Davis onto Harrison Barnes. And that's the out of position thing because he's not Trayce Jackson-Davis not used to guarding guys on the perimeter, and then Klay Thompson just kept losing Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray was on fire, and then De'Aaron Fox, Keon Ellis was huge on both ends, especially guarding Steph Curry. He did a great job.
That's what stuck out to me was the defense for Sacramento. Was like I watched some of the Lakers Pelicans game, and I was more amazed by Zion than anything. But in this game, it seems like the defense was like just turned up. They really cared a lot more, and I think the NBA has not to get off on tangent. They have to shorten the season to make these games matter more because the only way you're going to get these guys playing at this level is if they care, and the only way they're going to care is if the game actually matters more than it does now. So if you had like a 35 game season, you couldn't afford to lose three in a row or two in a row. I don't, I mean, I don't, but then you double it in the playoffs. So you play 35 and 35. Right now, if you make it to the championship and you make it to the finals, it's about 100 games or so, 82 and like so. If you go 35 and then just expand the playoffs, like make it more competitive, longer game, like
I don't think that would work for any party. Honestly, the NBA would lose way too much money from doing that. I mean, you're cutting what would that? You're cutting like 45 games, 47 games.
I just want to see this level of basketball more.
Well, I mean, with the playoffs, this is what we're getting now. I mean,
and then you have a summer league, then you have other dudes playing that, and that's competitive too. You just have an NBA summer league.
I am all for shortening the league. I don't know about 40-something games.
I think
I would
66
probably cut it to like, I would
or something.
cut between like 60 and 70, anywhere around their number. Not a whole lot, but just enough to get rid of all the double headers. There were so many double headers this year. I hated it.
The back-to-backs and the 3 and 4 nights, I think
It's
those
awful.
need to get cut out of there. I think that's a big problem.
I didn't mean to get us off on a tangent.
No, yeah.
But no, it's definitely an interesting point. With Golden State though, like it was really weird to see all of their guys struggle. As far as like their veterans, like their young guys, their bench was really keeping them in this game for a lot of it. Like Kuminga, Moses Moody were like some of their best players.
Yeah, Moody was hitting big shots. Kuminga was.
Yeah.
Another thing was like the level again, the play. It just seemed like every shot, like Keegan Murray took, every shot that Kuminga took, that Fox took, like these dudes weren't even hitting the rim. Like it was net. It was buttered. Like they were locked. The Kuminga from the mid range, he was like, what, bop, bop, bop. Like just get into my spot and hit it.
Yeah, there were a few times where when the Warriors finally had consistency offensively, it was when they had Kuminga just go at Sabonis. The first couple times he made a couple mid-range jumpers, and he drove right past Sabonis and made a bucket, and that was a 6-0 run by Kuminga. And that got Golden State back in the game. They had it down to 4 at halftime, and then in the second half, Steph Curry started to get it going. It was cut to 1. But then the Kings just kept pushing. They upped their energy. Of course, the crowd in Sacramento was great, as they always are. And the Warriors are out in the play-in tournament, and this could very well be the final time we see, the big three of Curry, Clay, and Draymond together. I know that's a big storyline that we'll get to in the offseason probably.
I think that might have very well been the last time we see them together, personally.
They're going to prioritize Clay, though, over Draymond, I think.
Well, Draymond's locked up there with Steph Curry.
Yeah, but they could trade him.
Clay is the free agent. Which
I think they're less and come back.
Interesting. I think that there are a lot of suitors that could use Clay.
No, I don't see that happening. At where he's at and the way this year is going, I just feel like I feel like his stock is lower than ever. Obviously.
Oh well, yeah. There's no question. There's no question about that. Yeah.
So, the free agent market isn't like the least viable avenue at this point, or like it's the least. As far as his career has gone, being a free agent at any other point would have been better than it is now.
Than this year,
obviously.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's old.
But anyways, with the Kings winning, that sets up a winner go home game for the 8th seed tonight in New Orleans between the Sacramento Kings and the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans, of course, dominated the season series. I'm pretty sure they went 5-0 in all the games. But of course, we're probably not going to see Zion Williamson. Brandon Ingram's been banged up. what do you guys think about this game? Like, where do you guys sort of lean in this situation?
I definitely think
Kings.
Sacramento has the momentum, especially after that blowout against the Warriors. And the Pelicans without Zion is huge because, like we said before, Brandon Ingram, he only had one game to warm up after being out for a couple weeks, and he didn't have that great of a game. Like, they're really going to need him and McCollum to really step up if they have a chance in this game.
Yeah, no question about it. I think Herb Jones is going to be a big X factor with the game with him guarding De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
I think this will be a game where like it really will depend on the role players. Like, can we see another big game from Keegan Murray? Maybe not 32 points, but a 20-point game from Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes stepping up again. We'll see how Sabonis and Valanciunas play. That'll be a fun matchup. Those are two pretty similar old school back to the basket bigs. But yeah, I
The way
think
I see it.
yeah.
Go
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Nick.
The thing that got the Kings the win versus the Warriors, I just point out like their defensive intensity is what can save New Orleans without Bi on his game and Zion out. Like if they're gonna win this game, they gotta hold Sacramento. I would say under 100, but Sacramento is obviously very good. So like if you keep them under 110, I feel like you're in pretty good shape for New Orleans, and that's gonna be like Jose Alvarado turning up, Herb Jones doing his thing. Dyson Daniels is a long guard who they might have to throw out there. Trey Murphy is long as well. They're gonna have to make shots and play defense.
Oh,
Yeah.
pause?
Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like they have long arms and they can defend De'Aaron Fox, Keon Ellis, the guys who get into the lane for Sacramento. Harrison Barnes is a tough one for the Pels because you don't really have Bi matching up well with him, and Zion's out. So I don't know. Harrison Barnes, another again X factor sort of game.
They're gonna start. They'll probably start Dyson like they did every time Zion was out this year.
All right, we've been talking about the Western Conference playing.
But yeah, so are we going Kings on this one? We're thinking Kings with the momentum.
I'm going
Joey's
Kings.
right. Yeah.
Probably. All right. So yeah, let's now move to the Eastern Conference play-in tournament on Wednesday night, starting with the Heat and the 76ers in another game where it was a game of runs. The Sixers started out, very solid on both ends, but then the Heat decided to just turn it on. They threw up their patented 2-3 zone defense. The 76ers did not know what to do with it. They were up
sucks.
they were up 14, I believe, at like halftime or in the third quarter. But then the 76ers fans won free chicken off of missed free throws by Miami, and it completely turned the momentum of the game. And the Sixers end up winning this one 105-104 in a very defensive-minded battle between these two teams. Nick, we'll start with you. What did you think about the fourth quarter, but with the 76ers coming back?
Yeah. Can anyone stop Joel Embiid? Like if he gets the ball, that's all that Philly needed to do versus Miami. No one can stop him. He's averaged 39 and 5 since coming back, and I know Goslin always has something to say about him, but that is unstoppable. I'm trying to look ahead to their New York matchup. I think about that for my Coach Co's video that I'm doing next. Actually, just shout that out, but that's what I've been doing. And but we'll see about like this game was very telling for me for Philly more than Miami. I thought Miami like played really well for stretches, and then they kind of Philly hit some shots and all that, but I'm worried more about Philly going forward because I love Maxey, but I just don't know.
Oh, we know.
If he's got like the experience and he's going to be able to be like the 1A that you need around the MVP, like Jamal Murray is with like Kyrie is with LeBron. Like I don't know if he's going to be able to do that because I saw some things like he wasn't making great decisions with the ball every single time in that zone last night, and Miami Tyler Hero looked really good. Jimmy looked a little slow.
Well,
insane.
he
Tyler Hero looked
also
great.
the
Tyler Hero went 9 for 27.
yeah he did miss a lot of shots down the. He made some key ones down the stretch, but I mean overall it was a rough shooting game for him.
Joel sucks.
We have to
Everyone
talk about
sucks.
Jimmy Butler. We do have to talk about it. At the end of the first quarter, went down with a knee injury, but ended up playing the rest of the game. You could tell that he was a little hobbled. He didn't shoot the best, but I thought he still had a great impact on the game, especially on the defensive end, picking up 5 steals. And a lot of them were when Embiid caught the ball like at the top of the key, and he was looking at one side of the floor, and Jimmy just came right behind him and poked the ball away and got an easy dunk at the other end. But he's out with an MCL injury. He could be out for multiple weeks, which is obviously a huge loss for the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
It is very, yeah, what Nick said. Like, it was very telling for the Sixers to, like, I think more because with the Miami Heat, they just got destroyed with injuries. That Jimmy Butler one, like, I know, like, he still impacted the game, but, like, you also need him to be aggressive if you want to win against this kind of team. And he clearly could not be that with this injury. So, unfortunately, I don't think I see their journey lasting much longer either.
I heard Philly fans booing multiple times.
A lot. Mainly at Tobias Harris.
I mean, and it's warranted. They had K Love. I mean, I was watching Kevin Love guarding Joel Embiid in this game, and they were down 14 in the second half.
Yeah, so Joel Embiid.
Bam, you talked about early foul. They took Bam out of the game. They should have had. They should have had control of the game at that point.
So Bam picked up 2 early fouls on Embiid. He went to the bench. Kevin Love came in, and Kevin Love, to his credit, I think he had a great game defensively guarding Joel Embiid. Like he was very solid defensively. He didn't make many mistakes on that end of the floor, and he knocked down some threes as well at the other end.
Yeah.
But you're right though. In a game like the Sixers should not have been down by that many points in theory when, Bam goes out of the game. You have Kevin Love guarding Embiid. But want to give a shout out with the Sixers to maybe the MVP of this game, Nicholas Batum.
Yeah.
Because, oh my goodness gracious, he was fantastic.
Best player on the court besides Joel Embiid for them. I mean, Max and Oubre both thought they shot under 30%. Hield was 1 of 5 from deep. Lowry was 1 for 5 from deep. I mean, they're going to need more help. And Batum is not going to be the answer the whole time in the playoffs.
Yeah, you can't count on this from Batum in, every single game. But I mean, the 6 threes were huge. A lot of them, I noticed when the Sixers started to come back, a lot of it was when the Heat were, again in their zone, and Buddy Hield would attack and drive and kick it to Batum in the corner. Batum got probably all of his 3-pointers were from the corners. That's where he definitely thrives with those corner threes.
Buddy Hield first playoff game.
Yeah, Buddy Hield's finally gonna be in the playoffs. So the streak of I guess the most
11 years.
11 years.
Yeah, he gets to have 4 games in the playoffs to have fun until they lose.
Jeez. Well, next let's quickly recap the Hawks and the Bulls. Like we said coming in, this wasn't going to be the best game, but the Chicago Bulls came out on absolute fire, and they carried that for the rest of the game, and it was led by a career game for Kobe White with 42 points on a fantastic efficiency. But unfortunately, because it's the play-in tournament, the stats for some reason don't count. So
he can get his career high is now it's still 37 or something, even though he dropped 42 last night.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say, of course, it's the play-in tournament, so someone got hurt because Alex Caruso went down with a big foot sprain. Him, Ayu, and Kobe White are legit. Like Chicago, I don't know if they have a shot to beat. They do have a shot to beat Miami, but they have to play really well because they're undersized with DeMar at the 4. It's like they're gonna need.
Well, DeMar didn't even play.
Miami isn't even that big either, though. I mean, Miami's undersized.
Yeah, they've been starting.
Miami.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
Bam's
also
6'9".
without Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's out. I think they have more of a chance now, obviously. I don't know. If DeMar plays, they have a way better shot. Because you can't expect a 40-point game from Kobe White every game.
Who was guarding him? Was it Bum DeJounte?
Kobe looked great.
Yeah, I mean the Hawks.
The worst player ever.
The DeJounte Murray played great, especially in the first half, but Trae Young was he just was not that good. We're definitely going to see some moves with Atlanta this offseason because if there's anything we learned this year about the Hawks, it's that Trae Young and DeJounte cannot play together because they've both looked way better when, the other's been out and off the floor.
All right, who you guys taking, Miami or Chicago?
Miami.
Let's see. All right, Jackson. Why are you going with Miami?
Because I think Hero's going to have a good game. I don't think with Caruso.
Don't say that. Last time you said that Klay Thompson had 0
had
points.
0 points.
I made a joke, you goober.
You didn't make it. You didn't make it clear it was a joke.
It was.
When I was watching Klay Thompson throw up those shots, all I was thinking was, "Wow, Jackson really said he's gonna have a good game." So obviously,
Yeah, because I live in your head rent free. Shut up.
I got Miami too, though. I'm with you. I do think Hero's gonna have a good night, although.
I think Bam's gonna have a great night. Vooch can't guard him for squat.
True.
Vooch couldn't guard a parked car if he wanted to. And I don't know.
Haywood Highsmith, that dude played insane the other night.
Okay.
He did. He really did, though. Like, he was on the floor in crunch time. He made a big floater to tie the game late.
Grabbing rebounds.
Yeah, he was really good. This is super close.
I'm taking Chicago.
I think I'm going to take Chicago, too.
I'm one game away. When we did our playoff matchups we want to see, I picked Celtics, Miami. I wanted them one game away here from getting that matchup.
But with no Jimmy, it's tough, man.
He's out weeks. Like, they don't stand a chance, even if they do make it on him.
All right, you guys are underestimating.
He'll play Boston.
Look, so my main thing here is
probably won't.
I think this is going to be a very ugly game that comes down to the wire, and I trust Chicago's half-court offense more than Miami's for sure, especially with DeMar DeRozan in the clutch.
It is going to be the most elegant game of all time.
Why wouldn't DeMar play?
He didn't play this game. He didn't play this past game.
Yeah, he did.
Did
he? DeMar had
I didn't watch the game because I was driving, but like...
No, DeRozan was great. He was a plus 27, 22 points, 6 boards, 9 assists. Yeah, DeRozan's available for sure.
I saw a report went on my stop saying that DeRozan was out.
Joey's spreading lies.
All right, well we're split on this. This is perfect.
When I'm wrong, though.
Joey's over here
when I'm wrong, and I apparently was wrong. Yeah, no, with DeRozan, I think Chicago's got it locked up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
I was right about the Kings. I will say I was wrong about Kobe White. I said he would only drop 30. He ended up dropping 40.
Well, yeah, for the first time in his career. Let's get into the playoff predictions, man. What we've all been waiting for.
Let's go.
We will not cover the 1-8 series yet because we don't know what those are, obviously, because the playoff.
It doesn't change either way. I don't think at all.
I don't think so. I think what we'll do is in the next episode, we'll all make our predictions like before the series start, and then I'll bring them back up here for the next episode. So let's start with the Eastern Conference, and we'll go in order. So first, let's start with the 2-7 matchup with the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. Before we get into predictions, let's break down this series. What are the things that you guys are looking out for in this series?
I want to see Joel versus Mitchell Robinson.
Nice.
Get the brooms out, baby! Get the brooms out!
Oh,
we got to sweep! We got to sweep!
That is going to be a good matchup.
I really think so because Joel is insane, and there's not many people that can stop him. But Mitchell Robinson may be at least be able to slow him down enough.
I don't even know how much Mitchell Robinson's going to play, if I'm being honest.
I think he'll play at least 20. Like, he's gotten 20-minute game logs leading up to the playoffs here.
Yeah, like Hartenstein's been their starting center for most of the year.
Perfect. He can guard Joel
too. Playoff time, and Robinson's a force.
Well, Hartenstein is too. They both are.
Hartenstein
they
is
both.
a
They
force.
both are.
So, one thing that I really like about this series is the depth. Obviously New York, but I think it's gonna be a good bench fight back and forth between like we just talked about guys like Batum and Tobias Harris and Buddy Hield.
Tobias Harris is a starter, buddy.
Well, the role guys, the
role players.
Like, I think the role players are going to play a huge factor because, I mean, it's basically like I think Jalen and Maxey are going to more or less cancel each other out. Like, if the 76ers have a chance to win the series, Maxey's going to have to outplay Brunson.
Goglin's losing it over you saying Maxey and Brunson cancel each other out. He is losing
that's not what I mean. Let me clarify and say that, like, what Miles just said about the half-court offense with Chicago and Miami, I trust Joel Embiid in the half court. And so, I don't know. He's going to control the pace a little bit. And so, let me
Goglin, do you want to respond?
Please, stop talking.
Goglin, how do you want to respond?
They don't cancel each other out because I think Tyrese Maxey sucks at defense compared to Jalen Brunson. And he sucks on defense. Or he sucks on offense if he's being guarded by OG Anunoby compared to Jalen, who's going to be being guarded by...
That's not who's going to guard him.
All right, then who will?
OG will probably guard Tobias Harris. I think that they usually play DiVincenzo on Maxey.
DiVincenzo, yeah.
Well, that's perfect. DiVincenzo... Who are they going to put on Jalen?
That's the question. Who would you guys put on Brunson if you're the Sixers? A prayer does not.
I
Jackson.
don't like the way Philly lines up starting five. It's like Lowry, Maxey, Oubre, Harris, and Embiid.
I think if DeAnthony Melton was healthy, then it'd be better because he's a good perimeter defender.
The Knicks are gonna go Brunson, DiVincenzo, Hart, OG, Robinson, or Hartenstein.
I think Hartenstein will start.
It's gonna be a beautiful series.
That 1-2 punch of Hartenstein Robinson against Joel might just crack him.
That definitely might be it. So
get the brooms, baby.
I'll show the predictions on the screen. Now Jackson is bringing out a broom when he didn't even predict a sweep.
Yeah.
So we all a lot of blue and orange on our screen. Nick has the Knicks in 6, Joey the Knicks in 7, and Jackson and I both say that the Knicks will take this in 5 games.
I changed mine. Give me
the
brooms, baby. Brooms, baby.
I'm very confident that this will not be a sweep, but a gentleman's sweep I think is likely with this one. Because
I said 7 because I wanted to go 7 personally.
7? What?
I think Philly has a legit shot, but.
No, they don't, because Joel Embiid. It's playoff Joel Embiid still.
Philly does have. Look, they all have legit shots, but I think the Sixers and Knicks, they are the same caliber of team. But I think the Sixers are too small in the backcourt.
And the Sixers just suck.
And the Knicks have way more depth. Bogey, Burks, guys coming off the bench that can actually impact the game.
Not Burks, they're both gonna run probably eight-man rotations, both teams.
If I see Burks on the floor at all, I might change this to a 4-0 sweep for Philly.
Gee, why?
That's how bad Alec Burks is, dude. He's terrible. He's so bad.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking that if you're the Knicks, that you just Jackson. I think that single coverage on Embiid might be the way to go defensively if you're the Knicks. I don't think you have to double.
Not in this case. Not with those two guys guarding them.
Yeah, not in this case.
But yeah, we all got Knicks. But in this case, I don't think, like, if Embiid struggles this series, I'm not holding that against him.
Oh, I am.
Well, we know you are. But just
I
because
wouldn't either.
it's a very, very difficult situation to come into. Like he definitely doesn't look at 100% clearly.
No.
So it's just a
Same thing
difficult
happened.
situation.
Same thing happened to Jimmy last year. And he was without his third best player, and he wasn't 100% going to the playoffs. So he still made a run.
He was healthy last year.
He's never healthy. Jimmy's never healthy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get into the 3-6 matchup with the Milwaukee Bucks and Indiana Pacers. This another injury that can affect this series with Giannis going to be out for the start of this series for Milwaukee. What do you guys think? Like what's the key to this series for either side?
Pacers, do what you've done against them the whole year.
My thing is always depth and defense in the playoffs. Those who's coming off the bench to make an impact, and how do you stop what the other team's trying? How do you stop their best line of attack? So in this case, I mean, it's tough. You know, it's a good matchup between indies, like role guys. I mean, you got Aaron Neesmith, who's like I'd put him against like Chris Middleton, who's the third and fourth. I don't know.
They'll put Neesmith on Dame probably. Because Neesmith's their best perimeter defender.
Yeah, either him or Middleton, because you'll need size on Middleton too.
I don't know, man. I still, even without Giannis, I think the Bucks stand a really good chance to win this because I'm never gonna bet against Dame in the playoffs. Like he did it so many times in Portland when they should not have won, even if they were a higher seed, and they still win. Like I've seen him do it before. He can at least hold the fort down and like win a game or two while Giannis is recovering, and then if Giannis comes back for like the end of the series, it'll be an easy win, I think.
But here's the thing. Talking about a team that has another team's number, this year the Pacers have the Bucks number.
I kind of want to switch my pick to the Pacers.
They played all their games a long time ago, and both teams have made big changes since all those games.
Like one of those changes being Mr. Doc Rivers as the coach.
One of them was Tyrese Halliburton was an MVP candidate in the beginning of the year, and now he's nothing.
And Patrick Beverly.
He's been playing a lot late.
Patrick Beverly was not on the Milwaukee Bucks roster to guard him. They were having Lillard and Beasley in the backcourt, it's just not as good defensively as Patrick Beverly.
Pacers also didn't have their second best player that they have now.
Yeah, they did not have Pascal Siakam, but the matchups can still work here. I'm curious to see if Milwaukee what Milwaukee decides to do. Yeah, I'm guessing Portis, but him or Crowder defensively against Siakam. Like, do you guys think that Portis could defend Siakam in a playoff situation?
I don't think. No.
I don't know. It'll be tough. It'll be very tough to do.
The rim protection is great on both sides with Miles Turner and Brook Lopez, so it'll be difficult to get to the basket.
Again, I think Miles Turner's going to outplay.
We don't know when Giannis is going to come back. I'm assuming at least the first 3 games.
Okay. I'll keep my pick. I think I have the Bucks in 6 or 7.
Yeah, so let's get into our predictions. It is mixed. Nick's got the Pacers in 7. Jackson says the Pacers in 6. And then Joey and I both have the Bucks. Joey has the Bucks in 5. I've got the Bucks in 7.
Jackson, you have the Pacers in 6.
Of course. Always.
All right, Pacers in 7 for me. I like that.
Great minds think alike.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Great minds think alike. 2 smartest people maybe ever.
Jarris Walker and Isaiah Wong are on the Pacers, so I picked them. And Oscar Tshiebwe. Those guys are all in their rookie year.
Jarris Walker, dude. Always Jarris Walker, dude.
Their names are just listed on the roster, so we gotta pick them.
Jarris Walker is gonna be a poor man Julius Randle.
Well, that's just a terrible player. Then.
He's gonna be a great cheerleader this series.
No, I had a.
That's a worse version of an
years of
already
Vegas
terrible
situation.
player. That
I had
don't
a
go
better
around.
sound, but I'll see if I can remember it by the end of the episode.
Don't go around bragging about him being a poor man's Julius. That is turning a really, really bad player into
All-star.
just a worse player. No,
All-star, yeah.
Julius
All
sucks.
NBA,
Julius
all NBA, all NBA.
overrated.
For Milwaukee to win this series, they, like you said, Joey, they need Damian Lillard to play like Portland Damian Lillard, in order for them to really have a chance. I think that's the most important thing. They need Middleton to step up as well. He's had a good season, nothing too special, but we know that in the playoffs that he can definitely turn it on. Brooke Lopez is going to be huge. Patrick Beverly may be the X factor if when he's going to be the primary defender on Halliburton.
I know I did say depth and defense in this case, though. Joey, you're right. It's Dame, and how is your best player gonna will you to a win? I think it'll be a lot of close games. Like it's gonna be a quick, high pop, fast pace.
Yeah, I think it's just very reminiscent of the Portland days when they might, even though they're the higher seed, without Giannis, they're easily an underdog now.
Yeah.
At least for the games that they play.
Pacers in 7.
Yeah, so
Pacers in 6.
Yeah, should definitely be a close series.
I don't know. I think Dave is going to have a crazy playoffs, and I think you can at least get a good game out of Chris Middleton and Brooke Lopez for a game or two. Bobby Portis, if he has a more involved role, he could even drop you 20 on a consistent night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
I think they still got enough.
Yeah, I think they've got enough too. I think that if they can,
it's just the bigs.
They need to.
Better for Indy.
Yeah, I think if you're the Pacers though, without Giannis in the lineup, you have to take one of the first 2 games in Milwaukee. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Milwaukee's a great home team. But they're not a very good road team, and especially without Giannis on the floor, like we said, that obviously, it's a huge loss for Giannis. It was a disappointing year for the Bucks, but it was still an incredible year for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So huge loss. So if you're the Pacers, you've got to take at least one of the 2 games in Milwaukee to really get it going. Moving on, let's go to the 4-5 matchup with the 2 favorite teams in the Eastern Conference. The Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers, a series of ugly defense. This is the NBA TV series, and it makes a lot of sense why, because both these teams, it is
back-to-back NBA TV series for Cleveland.
Dude, I love it. Love to see it. Where do you guys want to start with this series too? Do you want to talk about the Magic or the Cavs side of things?
Miles, why don't you start us off? What do you want to talk about?
So, of course, Orlando is. I think that for the Cavaliers, playing the Orlando Magic is a great test in the first round because the Magic present a lot of the similar problems that the New York Knicks did last year. This is like a Knicks light kind of thing. But I think that Orlando really struggles offensively. I think they're or at least when you look at what they do well and what the Cavs do well defensively. Of course, the Cavs' best defense is in the paint. They have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in there to protect the rim and force difficult shots. And the Orlando Magic, their main source of offense is attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line, maybe forcing turnovers, getting fast break buckets, but they're not a big 3-point shooting team. They don't have a lot of shooters. They rely a lot on Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero to get mid-range buckets and get to the free throw line and then sort of work, and then their defense wins them games. While Cleveland, this year, they've been a very, very good 3-point shooting team. So where you sort of lean, it's very, very, very difficult. I've been going back and forth on this one a lot.
Does either team even want to win this series? Because they're just gonna have to go up against Boston.
What does that mean? You still want to win you still want to win a series.
I mean, I guess winning this series means more for the Cavs. 'Cause I feel like if they don't win, Donovan's probably gone.
Of course, this is
Yep.
the Cavaliers have a ton of this. This may be the most pressure they have to win a series in a
Yeah.
while. They have to win this series.
Haven't won a
That-
playoff
that-
series without LeBron since the '90s.
Yeah.
I've been saying it all year long. If the Cavs don't win it, at
Before
least
any of
get
us were
past the
born.
first round, Donovan's gone. So I 100% agree. The rest of the Cavs, the coaching staff, they better be ready to get the rest of the guys to show up.
JB better
'Cause-
learn Chinese if they don't win this. Because
Who?
For me, I don't know. If Orlando can keep the ball in Paolo's hands, that's gonna give him a good shot to
is it though?
yeah.
Because he's gonna be guarded by Evan Mobley, who's a
Well,
good
get
defender.
Evan Mobley out on the perimeter. Good luck having him guard Paolo on the perimeter. Paolo's gonna have a lot of attention from if he's being guarded by Evan. I would put a Coro on Paolo.
No.
What?
So
No.
looking, well,
What?
yes. So looking,
Huh?
so the Cavs and Magic played 4 times during the regular season. They split the 2 games. Each team won on each other's floor once, and then won the other home game. But Paolo Banchero, besides the first game they played, he had a career high 42 points. Other than that, he really struggled to score and take care of the ball. When looking at those games, Banchero went 2 for 10 from the field when he was guarded by Okoro, and 3 for 13 against Mobley. So he's 5 for 23 against Okoro and Mobley this season. And those are going to be the main primary guys to guard Paolo for sure.
My main point though with him having the ball is he's gonna be able to sort of dominate the game because he garners so much attention with the ball. Those guys in the lane are gonna be able, or they're gonna have to be in help. And then on the backside, he can pick you apart pretty consistently because he knows
Yeah.
what he's doing with the ball.
I think the X factors for the Orlando Magic is, I think personally, I don't think it's Paolo. As much as I love Paolo Banchero, I think Evan Mobley and, like you said, Okoro with the numbers, they can keep him in check. My X factors are Franz Wagner, because he's the one, if they're locking up Paolo, he's going to have to be the one to score. He can, but Paolo's just a better version of him, really.
He's gonna.
But
he's
the
gonna be
other,
the one that's gonna have the other one on him. I
yeah,
mean, thinking about it,
I
he's
think
gonna
the
be
other
probably have
X
Okoro on him.
factor. I think the other X factor though is Jalen Suggs, because he's a really good defender, and he's going to have the hardest task of guarding Donovan Mitchell, regardless if Donovan's not fully healthy or not. He's still an extreme threat if you're not up on him.
Yeah, and that'll leave a lot of opportunities for Darius Garland, who it's been an up and down year for Garland with injuries, some off the court family. He had his grandma passed, so that he's had a rough season both on and off the court, but he's had some of his most success this year against the Orlando Magic. He averages 27 points per game against the Magic this season. It's really going to come down to, can the role players make shots? Because the Magic, they don't, like we said, they don't have shooters, but they do have scorers that can make things difficult, especially off the bench. The Magic have a great bench. They play 9 to 10 guys. When you look off the bench with Cole Anthony, Mo Wagner, they can both combine for 30 points off the bench, the two of them. It's a very underrated bench duo in the NBA.
Yeah.
Something that I find interesting with the Orlando Magic is if they're going to start Jonathan Isaac or Wendell Carter Jr., because they started Isaac at the 5 for their final regular season game against Milwaukee, and what that allows for the Magic to do is completely be able to switch 1 through 5, because Jonathan Isaac is an elite defender at all levels in the league.
Jonathan Isaac's an all NBA defensive guy for me, for sure.
He just doesn't get enough minutes really to get all the love.
You have to have the minutes. I remember seeing that stat about Dante DiVincenzo. That was ridiculous too.
It was, but he's gonna have to knock down threes. Gary Harris has been in a bit of a shooting slump recently. He's gonna have to knock down shots. And then for the Cavs, the guys off the bench are gonna have to hit shots with Okoro, Max Strus, Karis LeVert.
G-Wagon.
Yeah, personally, I know a lot of Cavs fans like really hate Niang because of
I
just the
don't
way
like
he
him.
plays. I'm personally like I like Niang for what he brings on the court. I'm not sure if this is his series. I hope that we go to
Yeah, I don't know
Marcus
either.
Morris or because George Niang definitely plays better against fours and fives that are more slower and it takes a while for them to get out. You don't really have that at all with this Magic team, so we'll see how that goes. As far as our predictions go, I think this is another one that can be up in the air as well. Um, let's show the board. So we've got Joey picking the Orlando Magic in 6 games. And then the rest of us have the Cavaliers. Knicks has the Cavs in 7. Jackson and I have the Cavs in 6. Joey,
Joey loves
Joey,
power.
we'll start with you. Why do you have the Magic in 6 games?
Because I think, like I was saying, the X factors for the Magic, the X factors for the Cavs are everybody outside. Like the pressure is on the rest of the guys. Do you want Donovan here or not? Because if you play like you've done half the year, he's probably ain't coming back. So I just unfortunately think this is such an off year for like some of the guys. Like I think Evan Mobley is going to struggle. I think Garland might not be up to the task, even though I'm hoping he is. I truly am. I'm just more of a
Yeah.
pessimist, I guess. I think Donovan's going to be Donovan. If he's fully healthy, I think we stand a much better shot. But he just hasn't looked right over the last month and a half.
Yeah. Nick, why do you
The
have the
Cavs
Cavs
really.
in why do you have the Cavs in 7, Nick?
Yeah, I struggle with this one. Honestly, it can go either way. That's why I took it to 7. It's kind of like the Bucks and Pacers.
Yeah.
But I would give the edge to the Cavs because I believe they really do have it on this team in like 9 out of 10 categories, as far as like skill, experience, talent, depth, bench, shooting. Defense is pretty comparable. That's where Orlando's the best.
Yeah.
But that's why I give the Cavs the edge. They got it on them in 9 out of 10 categories. But I haven't seen it from like the core four from Cleveland yet, and I haven't seen it from them before. So it's gonna be close. We go either way.
That's the thing. We really don't know what Cleveland team we're going to get. Um,
Yeah.
I think I think experience is definitely going to play a factor here because this is the first time that really all these guys for the Magic have been in the playoffs besides Gary Harris, Jonathan Isaac, and Joe Ingles. Those are like the only
Joe
guys that
Ingles.
really have playoff
And I mean,
experience.
you could say even like Jalen Suggs just because he had his March like that crazy March Madness run with
True.
Gonzaga. So I think that like that's a little bit. I mean, he was arguably the best player on that team, which that gives him a little bit of experience in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I think the Cavs just have a lot more experience, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, even like Donovan Mitchell, we've seen him be just an astronomically amazing player in a playoff series against one of the best, if not the best, current team in the NBA. Now it was a
Yeah.
lot different back then, but still, like, I mean, Donovan's been here before. He's been the best player on a team, and I think I could see Donovan averaging 30 to 35 plus points per game in this series.
That'd be a
It,
tough it'd be a tall task against this Magic team, but it definitely could happen. I think that is one thing as well. Like Donovan Mitchell is one of the greatest playoff scorers in NBA history, and he's coming off of 2 back-to-back disappointing first round series. I don't think he's going to have 3 in a row. I think even if he's somewhat injured, he's going to give it all he's got. And he's going
It's
to
funny because I don't think he's one of the best playoff scorers in NBA history.
no, but statistically,
Maybe
he's
he
like the
was at
7th
one point.
highest in history.
Yeah, I know what he did in Utah and stuff. But I think the last 2 seasons have been more
Yeah,
of
last two
like a
years have been
reality.
disappointing. Yeah, last 2 years have definitely been disappointing.
But that's what I'm saying is the reality.
Yeah, it's definitely funny to like have this sort of series with the Magic and Cavs because I've listened to a lot of Cavs podcasts today. In preparation for this, I listened to a 2-hour Orlando Magic podcast, and every fan is like, oh boy, I don't know if my team has enough to win over the other team. Like every fan is like pessimistic towards their own team, not sure if they've got it. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. And it's look, no matter what happens, I mean, it'll be great either way. Like the Magic are playing with house money for sure. Their first time really legitimately in the playoffs in like 12 years. I mean, the couple years where they made it with Vucevic and Fournier, they're not the best teams, but
Yeah.
and then we already talked about the pressure for the Cavs. So it should be a good series, maybe a little ugly, but I think for true basketball fans, this is going to be an entertaining series.
If you love playoff basketball and love defense, this is the series for you.
Heck yeah, it is. Let's move over to the Western Conference. First up, with a rematch of the Western Conference Finals from last year, the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, the Nuggets swept the Lakers last year. They've swept them in this season series.
And they're gonna sweep them again. Get the brooms out.
Get the brooms out.
Not again.
Get the broom out.
So I'm sure. So all of us. I mean, the Nuggets are definitely favored in this series. Over the Lakers. Where does it start for the Lakers? Like for them to potentially have a chance in this series?
Win the game.
AD LeBron.
AD and LeBron.
I hate to say it, it's as simple as that. If they can both go off for like 30, 40-point games, they can at least get a game or two.
Yeah.
They both score 40. I mean, I think they win every game if that happens. And
that's probably more realistic than what I was gonna say, which was that AD needs to outplay Jokic and he just needs to be the best player on the court.
That's not gonna happen, I don't think.
Yeah, but LeBron and AD together outplaying Jokic gives them probably their best shot.
Yeah, playoff Murray exists.
I think more so like you need AD and Jokic. We were talking about players canceling each other out. You need AD to play. You need AD and Jokic to play at the same level to cancel each other out. You need them to have. You need them to have similar games, and then it comes down to the role players, of course. And the Lakers guys have been playing well. D'Angelo Russell's been playing very, very well, but he really struggled against the Nuggets. Had to come off the bench in a game or two in the last series. Reeves was great. Rui Hachimura.
Rui's been all right.
Yeah, but
pretty good.
Of course, you give the edge to the Denver Nuggets. And looking at our predictions, that's exactly what we've got. All of us have the Nuggets. Nick and I have the Nuggets in 5. Joey and Jackson, Denver in 6. This is another great series of star power.
I mean, I don't know. I would like to change mine to 4 again, just because, dude, I don't see a world where Denver gets more than one game put up on them until they get to the finals. That's just my opinion.
You don't think the Lakers could take a game?
No. I
Seriously?
don't.
Wow.
Because you say like, oh yeah, like AD's got to put up the same amount as Jokic, but like Jamal Murray in the playoffs is a different breed. I mean, he turns up to a level we don't see. Like he honestly becomes like a top 3-point guard in terms of like statistics and how he plays in the playoffs. It's insane.
Yeah, that is very, very true.
And we've always seen him play well against the Lakers. I mean, he had his 50-point game against the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or was that against the Jazz? No, it was against the Jazz. Him and Donovan. But I mean,
he's had great success against the Lakers for sure.
The only reason I think they're getting 2 games like at the most is because, like I said, I'm like, if AD and LeBron go for 40 a couple games, they can win that and have a chance if you do that. But like, I think you're only going to get that happen. Like, you're only let that happen like twice at the most.
Also, I mean, you have MPJ, you have Aaron Gordon, who plays fantastic in the playoffs. KCP's a guy who's been there a lot.
I was on the cusp of 5 and 6. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I thought it easily could go 5. I just think it happens they get lucky or have just everyone's clicking on all cylinders for only one game, max
Yeah,
two.
I could see that them taking a game or two, but I think
Lakers
it's
don't
gonna be a
stand a
sweep.
shot in the real scheme of it.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
Probably not.
I think in terms of coaching, I don't like DeMar Hamlin as a coach. I don't think he's a good coach. And I think Michael Malone might be the best coach. No, he doesn't get talked about nearly enough for what he's
No,
done
he
with
is a
this
good
Denver
coach.
team.
Yeah, he really doesn't get talked about when we talk about best coaches in the league. He
But
really isn't a name that comes up a
he
lot.
should be. I mean, from where he's taken this Denver team since he started, I mean, he's probably one of the people that have helped Nikola Jokic develop to who he's been. I mean, it's like he deserves a lot of credit.
He definitely does. Moving on, let's go to these next two series, maybe the two most polarizing series to predict. First up, we've got the Phoenix Suns and the Minnesota Timberwolves, the 6 versus the 3 seed. Minnesota 56 wins, one of their best seasons in franchise history, legitimately in the playoffs. A series with two conflicting styles of play. Minnesota, one of the best defensive team in the league, and of course Phoenix, so much offensive star power with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. Jackson, I know you've been definitely a huge Timberwolves fan all season long.
I
You
love the
you start
Timberwolves.
start us off with this series.
Um, listen, I was tempted to bring the broom out for this one. I really was, but I think Phoenix can take a game. But I think in terms of it's just 1 through 5, Minnesota has the defenders to match up with anybody, and I think Rudy he could get played off the court, but he's going to be guarding Nurkic, so I think it's going to be nice for him. And I mean, they have Cat back, right? I mean, I haven't been watching any basketball because I'm retired again. But has Cat been playing? Like, can
Cat
someone confirm has Cat?
Cat returned in the final game, so yes, or in the last two
So
games, so he's back.
I think maybe if Chris Finch is smart, he'll still try to ease Cat back in and maybe bring him off the bench for a game and start Nas Reed over him. But I mean, I could see Phoenix taking a game. They still have Kevin Durant and Beal and obviously Booker, and they have Jeremy Renner, aka Grayson Allen, who's played pretty well this year too. But just, I think I could see Ant shutting, like maybe not fully shutting down, but like slowing Booker down a ton, and then I could see McDaniels holding Kevin Durant as well.
Okay.
And even like that's just what I think. I think Minnesota matches up perfectly to Phoenix. They have the size because McDaniels is a lengthy player, um, and he can kind of match up with Durant. And I think um, Ant is one of the most underrated defenders in the league. I mean, if he turns it up, he's for a whole game he could pick you up at full court and just stay lock onto you basically. And I think he can do that with um, Booker. And honestly, I don't know about Beal. We haven't really seen playoff Beal, so I think it's up in the air how he could play. But I don't know. Minnesota's tough.
Okay. So, personally, I think that Phoenix is the worst matchup that Minnesota could have pulled,
I agree.
in my
Yep.
personal opinion. Those two, Minnesota has not been able to figure Phoenix out the whole year. And when looking at the games in the regular season, they played, 3 times this season. The Suns had 4 players that averaged 19 points or more against Minnesota this year. Grayson Allen averaged 19 per game against Minnesota. Devin
Let me
Booker,
tell you
Durant,
why,
and Beal were
Miles.
fantastic. Yeah,
Can I tell you why?
yeah,
It's because like Minnesota, they have great defenders. They have great individual defenders who are good. Also, they have great defenders. So, but what Phoenix does is they negate that because they just spread it out. They go 5 out, and they put all those great defenders on an island where they can't impact. They can't make an impact.
yeah.
So, if you just let KD and Book and Beal cook, you're gonna have to double at some point, and I think Minnesota's good enough to like play out of that, but that's not their strength. That's not how they match up the best.
I think it's going to be a very close series either way. Um, However, when and like honestly, I think each game could be very go down to the wire. There's going to be a super fun series to watch. But when you get down to the clutch moments, I've seen Devin Booker do it. I've seen Kevin Durant do that, where they can clutch it up, and especially in the playoffs. I low key give the edge to Phoenix here.
Yeah, and Anthony Edwards, I mean, he's going to be probably the catalyst for the Timberwolves. Like, in order for the
Yeah.
Timberwolves to win this series, he has to play well. He has played his worst basketball of the season against Phoenix this year, which I found very,
Oh,
very interesting. Looking at all the numbers, he averages just 14 points per game on 31% shooting, and he only gets up 14 shots per game against the Suns. And the 14 points is his lowest against any team this year besides the Charlotte Hornets when it was the one game where Cat had 60 and no one else went going. So really, Anthony Edwards plays his worst against the Phoenix Suns. He doesn't get shots up. When he does, they don't go in. And when that's not going for you, the Timberwolves just don't have the other guys that can really even it out when you look at the Phoenix Suns. Because, like you said, Nick, when you space it all out, um, Phoenix can just cook in isolation and make high quality jump shots. Like the Timberwolves, it's a similar thing to the Cavs, as far as like their best defense is like funneling to the middle and into the paint and forcing you to go into shot blocking center or McDaniels or wherever. Phoenix is an elite jump shooting team when you look at all their superstars. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that it just plays in their favor. And I honestly, I don't think it's going to be that close. I've got the Suns in 5 on this one.
wow.
Getting
Yeah,
it.
I had
Yeah, go
Minnesota
ahead,
with
Nick.
the edge. Sorry,
No,
I
go
still
ahead.
had Minnesota with the edge because I think Anthony Edwards is ready to break out, and they got Cat back, and they're a very strong team. And I haven't been convinced from the Suns since day one, but it's going to be interesting with the different forms of play, different styles.
Yeah, so let's take on the board. Not official till they're up on the board. So Joey and I have the Suns. I've got them in 5. Joey in 6. Jackson, as he said, has the Timberwolves in 5. Nick has the Wolves in 6. All completely different. And it just shows this series could really go either way. I I'm not I can't really believe it until I see it with the Timberwolves because they've really struggled with the Suns this year. But we'll see. Anything can really happen.
That's fair. Yeah.
Moving on to the final series, the LA Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. Shout out to Dallas right there.
That is
Dallas and
terrible.
Joey in Denver. Um, but yeah, the Clippers and Mavericks. This is probably the series that I am looking forward to seeing the most.
Agreed.
This is must watch TV right now.
Absolutely. I don't even know
Currently
where we.
googling Kawhi Leonard's status.
Yes, that is going to be the key. Kawhi Leonard has missed the last, I want to say, 8 games of the regular season due to injury. And I don't believe that his status has been updated yet for game 1.
So it's planned to have Kawhi Leonard for playoff opener. ESPN 21 hours ago.
Oh, they are playing.
Um,
Okay, so he might be back for
I'm
game 1.
preparing to have him on the court,
Yes,
but we just don't know yet.
yeah, we're just not completely sure. But even then, this is a series that is chock full of star power. Of course, with the Mavericks, with Luka and Kyrie, the Clippers with Paul George, Kawhi, Harden,
Harden, Rose.
what Westbrook. So, where do you guys want to start on this? We want to start with the Clippers or the Mavericks
Oof.
side of things?
The Mavericks, they've been they've been playing a lot better since the trade deadline. They made perfect moves. I was incredibly wrong about them. I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to be a good defensive team going into the second half of the season, and I was completely wrong. Their defense has been amazing since the trade deadline, and I think they have Luka and Kyrie, two of the best playoff performers like of the last 10, 15 years. Sorry. And I just think those two, it's going to be tough for the Clippers to kind of stop those two, and I think Gafford down low is going to give Zub a lot of problems.
No
And
shot.
why?
Gaff is not on the same tier.
You're probably the same person who thinks Zach Edey's the greatest player of all time. Okay,
No, I
so
don't. But Zub is actually tough.
So, yeah,
okay.
we haven't seen well, I mean, we haven't seen playoff Gafford or playoff Washington or just throw playoff in front of anyone's name. This is gonna be their really first time in the playoffs. But I'm curious to see how the Clippers bigs, mainly Zubats, can handle this series because we've seen these two teams have played in the playoffs two straight years in 2020 and 2021. And
Luca
Luca
owns them.
Luca, all what they would do is they would just have Luca get Zubats on a switch because the Clippers always switch defensively no matter what, and Luca just cooks Zubats in isolation. So um I wonder how much the Clippers will actually play a center in this series because of that reason.
I'm rethinking my pick. I had the Clippers with the edge because a little bit like the Cavs, I just think the sort of nucleus that they have with Paul
Yeah.
George. They got Paul George, Kawhi, and Harden are like a 3 Hall of Fame, and add Russ to that. I just think like what I saw from them in the when they were playing well in the regular season, I thought they were one of the top contenders in the West. And Dallas is great, and Dallas definitely has had a great run to end the season. I just don't. I just give the Clippers the edge a little bit, but you guys are convincing me otherwise, just slightly.
I think it's a very close series. It's chock full of star power, but to me, the Mavericks have the better player in Luka Doncic. I think he can fully transform and take over games. And seeing Kyrie play like he's happy again and like he was like during the Cavs, at least the second half of the season, where he goes off like for like 40 and such, like he's playing great again. It when you have Kyrie as like a second star who's playing great, we saw it with LeBron in Cleveland. We're seeing it now with Luka and him. They automatically turn into an elite duo that it's very hard to stop.
Yeah, this series could very well come down to that next player, which in this series is Kyrie Irving and Paul George. The Clippers, of course, this is always their thing. They have a great team, but can they put it together in the playoffs? They've gotten to the playoffs now. The 82 game regular season's over. This is what they've been waiting for all season long. So we'll see. The Clippers could potentially, go up another level now that we're in the playoffs. Um,
But I mean,
it's
we've seen
super
Luca
tough.
single-handedly take this team down without a star next to him.
Well, yeah, take him
Like
to like 7. Yeah.
beat them in a series. I mean, the bubble, he beat them
Oh no, he
single-handedly.
didn't. No, he didn't beat them in the bubble.
Oh, he didn't. Well, my bad.
James Harden and Russell Westbrook are both going to have to play well.
They are. That's yeah, for sure. James Harden especially is gonna have to play well. He's gonna have to have some throwback Houston Rockets games in the
Sure.
I
in
thought
the
we were done
playoffs.
mentioning that team until next year.
Well, James Harden.
Oh yeah.
Best
James
player
Harden.
in Houston Rockets history.
Stop.
I
Talking.
gotta go Dallas
Stop.
with
Talking.
my predictions. I
Yeah.
have
So
to.
getting into the predictions, I was surprised by this, but Nick is the only one going with the Clippers, saying the Clippers in 7. The rest of us have the Mavericks.
Are you saying it's surprising?
Jackson and I
you
say the Mavericks in 6. Joey's got the Mavericks in 5 games, which I find very very interesting. Why do you have the Mavericks in 5?
Even if by your logic it comes down to the next player right along the superstar, I'll take playoff Kyrie over playoff P any day.
uh,
Sorry.
that is fair. It's been a while too since we've seen Kyrie really in the playoffs
Yeah.
because he didn't make it
Yeah.
last year. The year before was weird with the whole COVID thing.
Yeah. The way I'm sorry, but like at least for me, I'm still a huge Kyrie fan, but like
Yeah.
him when he was playing alongside LeBron as the second guy, he was one of the best point guards in the league. Really
He
was.
still is one of the best point guards.
And
in the
now that
league.
he's playing with Luca again, it's very reminiscent because he is still one. He is playing like he's one of the best point guards in the league.
He's
Well,
never
this
not
series-
played like he's been one of the best point guards. I mean, I think the best season of his career in the regular season was Brooklyn when he averaged like 27. So I mean, he's never like not been a top point guard. It's just we haven't seen him in the playoffs in a while.
If he played enough games this year, he definitely would be in All NBA conversations. He might have been in that final cuts list that we had, but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I think that Kyrie Irving at 31 years old now is playing the best basketball now of his career, because like the year where he averaged like 27 points per game, that was the year without Durant there, so he was a number one option. He's putting up 27 5 and 5 or 25 5 and 5, something like that, on great efficiency as
like,
the second supplementary option to Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
And it's
he's
contributing
Luka's
to a winning
best
team.
second option ever.
Oh, no question. Yeah. You think the
100%.
previous two times that the Mavericks played the Clippers, it was Porzingis who really didn't fit the Clippers series, especially at that point of his career. Of course, now he's fantastic, and he'll be a big part of the Celtics' future playoff series that I'm sure we'll get to talk about later. But those are all of our predictions. Super excited for this weekend, for the play-in games tonight, and then the playoffs start start Saturday, go through Sunday, and then we'll be back. We'll record on Monday to go over probably all the game ones, maybe overreact to some things from just one game, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
That.
Well, yeah, because
I'm
you don't
learning
watch.
I'm learning from Paul Pierce. I'm not overreacting to one game. Yeah, the Celtics are gonna win this series because they won one game.
Yes, exactly. But, yeah, you guys got anything else before we get out of here?
Shout out to Jonte Porter on being banned from the NBA.
Dude.
It's so stupid. Oh yeah, but Miles Bridges gets to play every game he can.
Yeah,
I like Miles Bridges as a player, but as a person, why is he still in the league?
Jonte Porter, I still like, if you're at least gonna do that, at least bet on yourself, not against yourself and for your team to lose. Like, are you kidding me?
Bad.
That's so bad.
Well, that's NBA. That shows how smart he is because he knows he plays for the Raptors.
Well, yeah, but so I think from reading articles, he got like $21,000 from that, and he made $3 million in his career. And if he was going to stay in the league, he'd be, making it at the minimum $1 million. So he's gotten banned from the league for $21,000 when he could have gotten $1 million per year. That's a horrible.
That's just stupid.
Financial.
The league. I don't know why they're banning him, but keeping some people around.
I agree. I totally agree. But
like especially with how much they promote betting, it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, I saw a really funny clip with that. It was the first time Jonte Porter got subbed into a game. As he was getting subbed in, the screen went like to a minimum, and they had the giant ad, and it was for Sports Kings or something like that.
The NBA on TNT is brought to you by DraftKings.
By Jonte Porter.
Yeah.
They did this to him. That's not fair. Justice for Jonte.
Wow.
No.
Only doing this because it's MPJ's brother, and we love MPJ around here.
MPJ is about to turn up. He's about to.
He's gonna get all that extra money and give it to Jonte. That's right. That championship money.
He's not passing the ball a single time.
That's the thing. MPJ doesn't even have to bet on him anymore. He's just on himself. He'll just give the money to his brother, and his brother will bet it.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more NBA playoffs coverage and content. Leave a comment with your thoughts on all these series. Give your predictions in the comments as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Get the brooms, baby. Get the brooms.